ladies and gentlemen, back out on the bike. Short run today, just heading out to Lanercost. Have a look at Lanercost Priory, which is where Edward I was holed up during his illness on his way to Carlisle. He'd been to Newcastle and was heading across from Newcastle to Carlisle when he got ill. He was heading to Carlisle for a parliament which was going to be held in Carlisle Castle. This was in 1206, the year 1206, but he never quite made it. Like he had to stop off at Hexham for a short while, and then he got a little bit better, set out again, and in September of 1206 he there's always one idiot. In September of 1206 he landed at Lanercost, only 10 miles short of Carlisle Lake, and unfortunately had to stay there for about 6 months. It wasn't until March the 2nd when he moved on to Carlisle, to the Parliament and what have you. Pretty mad like. The point in moving hour for us when you've just overtaken your prat. I don't know. Anybody in an Audi, half-wits, a lot of them. Quite mad really. Yeah, so then he went on to Carlisle, of course, and eventually from there he set forth to Scotland, but obviously it came a cropper on Bruff Marsh. Anyway, so what happened while he was at Lanercost? Well, there was lots of things going on. The Scottish wars, with Bruce, were pretty much finished at that point. Most of Scotland wanted nothing to do with Bruce after he'd killed John Cumming, but unfortunately when young Bruce came back and Edward I and proclaimed himself king, Edward's reaction was a bit too much, doing things like imprisoning his wife and was it his daughter, one of them in Roxburgh and one of them in Berwick, putting them in cages and displaying them, and also his brother Philip, I think his name was Philip, he was hung, drawn and quartered in Berwick. So yeah, he didn't do himself any favours by doing that, Edward, because it kind of turned those that were loyal to him in Scotland turned them against him, eh? Also at that time was when Edward fell out with his son over that Piers Gaveston. Yeah, you know the bit where he was in the film of Braveheart, he threw that guy out the window? That was Piers Gaveston, and that never actually happened. What actually happened was that Edward got himself a bit angry when his son had asked somebody to petition the king with regards to this Piers Gaveston, promoting him, and he was also going to give lands in Ponthieu in France to this Gaveston as well. He was going to give some lands to him, which I think came with the promotion or whatever. Anyway, and that's when King Edward had that big barney with his son. But he didn't chuck Gaveston out of the window, he just sent him away into exile. But he did get hold of his son's hair and pull half of it out, and called him a bastard son of a bitch, and tried to tell him the stupidity of trying to give lands away that he hadn't earned, you know, that Edward hadn't earned. Yeah. The Lanercost Priory was founded in 1169, I think it was, and patronised by Hubert de Vaux, something like that. But it was his son Robert de Vaux who actually patroned the abbey. Now the lands round here were actually in Scottish rule, especially under King Stephen, and it wasn't until Henry II that the lands round here, and especially the lordship of Gilsland, which we're talking about here, you know, this at that time this priory came under the lands around the priory came under the lordship of Gilsland, and prior to 1157, you know, that never existed in England. That was a Scottish lord's title, I think. Yeah, it was only when Henry II claimed them back, or claimed the lands, that you know, and then he gave it to his follower Hubert de Vaux, whatever they called it. Not upon me French pronunciations, I'm afraid. And of course, as I say, it was his son Robert, his eldest son Robert, who helped to pay for and found the priory. There was one prior and 12 canons, obviously imitating Christ and the 12 apostles. Yeah, but building of it went in a couple of stages. You know, it wasn't just like built all in one go. I wonder what's going on here. Lots of cars parked. Strange. Some sort of run or something. Yeah. But we'll actually be able to walk in the footsteps of Edward I here. you know, in the cloister and places like that. Now, of course, it came under King Henry VIII's attention when it came to dissolution of the monasteries and stuff, and also under Scottish attention as well during the English-Scottish border wars, and of course the Reivers as well. You know, the border Reivers coming across and doing all sorts of damage. And last time I was in this church, there was a quote which I think was from the Bishop of Hexham, which is kind of halfway between Newcastle and Carlisle, where it admonished the Scots for all the damage that they did in the borders to the clergy and stuff. Like William Wallace came here to Lanercost and did all sorts of damage, as did Robert the Bruce. Stole a load of stuff. They used to have a relic here as well, a holy relic, the girdle, or a part of the girdle of Mary Magdalene, which is the what the church is dedicated to, Mary Magdalene. And there's a statue of Mary Magdalene in the on the west face of the church. There's also 13 niches as well, which, you know, suggests that there was maybe statues in them, you know, maybe of the apostles and Jesus. Yeah, it's a lovely place though, this. Nice area as well. Just going to take it easy down here because of the trees and stuff. It can get a bit slippy when it's been raining, and the road has never been the smoothest. In fact, I nearly came off here once on a push bike. I was doing the Cumberland Challenge on here, which was a 100-mile run on push bikes. I came down here, I nearly came off here. They have actually resurfaced it since then, like, but then again that was in 2008, so you'd expect that they would as well. This is the Priory Bridge, and this was probably built in the Tudor period. We'll come and have a look at that later, I think. Maybe fly the drone. And this is Lanercost Priory. Lovely. And hopefully you can get in. Like, I did come and have a quick look at last Saturday. Looks like there's quite a few people here, which will give us time to have a cigarette. Hello! How are you, fella? Aye, I've come for a visit. Aye, we've just come for a... No, probably not. Did they?
Yeah. Going down towards into the town, trikes, Harleys,
crazy. No, I've just come to have a look at the church and take some pictures and stuff.
I'm just on a walk around the circuit. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour.
Ah, well, nice.
Gets the blood flowing again.
It gets a bit of air in the lungs, eh?
Yeah.
Bit of air in the lungs. I'll pull that out here, I think. Okay, mate. See you later, man. Oh, come on, Mark. go. Yeah, that's my neighbour. He rides what do you call it, Royal Enfield. Good fella, you know. Used to be my local Bobby. Good fella. Anyway, we'll get back to you. I'm going to have a quick cigarette, find out what the crack is from the point of visiting it, and then, like I say, I'll get back to you. So, see you shortly. So here we are, Lanercost Priory, walking around the cloister in the footsteps of Edward the First. I'll just turn this round, show you that this is the cloister here. This would have been a garden at one point, this grass that you can see in front of you there. And this area, where these steps are, and where this seat is and what have you, this would have actually been covered. You can see up there where there would have been a roof attached. You see those notches sticking out? Wonderful. It's a beautiful old place. Of course, this would have been bordered by buildings on all four sides. On this side, the dormitories. Over here. This would have been where the dormitories would have been for the canons and the priors. Down in here, this is called the Undercroft, and this is quite amazing, this place. Look at this ceiling. This would have been food storage and what have you, storage for bedding, and I think at the end there was the prior's warming room where they used to warm themselves. Obviously, being in the being in the north of England, that would have been an essential part of the priory for them to warm themselves. I think there's a fireplace here somewhere. Refectory Undercroft, that's what it's called. Let's see what this says actually. The fine 13th century room was originally divided in two. The far chamber to the right was probably used for storage, and this end was a warming room with a large fire. I assume this would have been the fireplace. Yeah. Right, it's a bit low in here, even for this camera. Look at it though. What a lovely place. There's steps here. Where this goes? Nowhere. Nowhere. Take note if you ever come here. Oop. Drop my bag. It's forbidden to climb on the walls. Right. These buildings here are much later. This was well, what is known as Deca Hall, and the tower on the end is Deca Tower. But these are much older buildings built on on top of original buildings. You can actually see on the church side of the church there. I'll just zoom in if I can. There we go. Up a bit, Mark, up a bit. I'll get used to these buttons yet. You can see where the original roof was. Up there. You can see where the join would have been. Let's go into the it's not the nave, is it? What do they call this again? The transept or whatever. This is the what would have been the main part of the church. Wow! Look at this. Can you imagine what this would have been like in its heyday? We have a sarcophagus here, I think. Yep, definitely. Let's have a look at this. You can see where the head of the corpse would have been. It's there. And the rest of the body down there. Obviously that's been destroyed at some point. Yeah, pretty amazing. I'll get used to these buttons yet, I tell you. I think this niche was where the relic was kept. That being the girdle of Mary Magdalene, or a portion of the girdle of Mary Magdalene. And these are the tombs, probably from the Decas and the Howards. Yeah. Oh, I don't know about this one here. Although it doesn't say anything, there would have probably been an effigy on top of this, I would imagine. On top of this one here, or something. That's obviously gone. I have a niche there. And a more modern, or a couple of more modern tombs. And the Howards. Howards were a big family around here. That's quite creepy, that, isn't it, really? A little baby from a thing. Of course, infant mortality was a big thing in those days. Yeah, this is the Howards. Whether you can see those inscriptions or not. George James Howard, 9th Earl of Carlisle. This looks Deca, this one. You know, it's a lot older. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the Deca coat of arms. Look at how intricate that will have been in its day. Beautiful. Yeah, looks like there would have been an effigy on here as well, but that's long since gone. all these old artifacts, like. There's a niche. I think there's a cross somewhere, or part of the old Lanercost cross, which is actually, or was situated outside, but yeah, has been damaged, and parts of it just brought in here. I'm pausing there. So I'm just going to do some slow motion stuff just to get some atmospheric stuff, so I'll see you shortly.
place. Absolutely. Yeah, I've never, although I live really close to this place, I've never, well, I've been here before on quite a few occasions, but I've never really come in and had a proper visit. And it's absolutely stunning place, like, it really is. Not much left of it though, unfortunately. I'm going to be above this, and you know, again I think this would have been Deca. Oh no, maybe Howard. Hard to say. As you can see, it's well weather beaten. Well, these are the night stairs. A flight of timber stairs here led to the dormitory on the first floor, allowing the canons to gain easy access to the church for their nighttime devotions. So there would have been steps coming out of here and up into the dormitory here. In this here area was toilets. Somewhere around here, I think. Here, I would say. Yes, I would say so. That's an original entrance into the Undercroft. Windows. Refractory Undercroft, that is. A lot of the stone here is definitely Roman, and has definitely been taken from the wall. Of course, the location of this place is ideal from the point of view of building materials. What with the wall being only a couple of miles away, and of course there would have been lots of woodland around here as well. This is Deca Hall, this, or Deca Tower should I say. This is a lot later, this. Definitely Tudor windows, them, like, definitely from the Tudor period, them windows. So I'm hoping I can go into the church and either take some pictures or take some video, but I'm not sure that's going to be allowed, like. But in the church, last time I was in the church, there was, like I say, there was like a curse of onto the Scottish from the bishop, which I think it was the Bishop of Hexham. I can't be sure. Love old buildings like this, like, it's a bloody passion, I'll tell you. A bit of the countryside around. lovely. Used to walk the dog over there until he heard somebody shooting far further away. I kind of had to stop coming here. I just want to get some shots of in here, some slow motion stuff, and zoom in and stuff, so won't be a minute. Well, this is where they used to wash, and you can see there, it looks like where there was a spring came up there. All these lovely carvings at the top there. The lava, that's it, that's what it's called. This ornamental recess incorporated a line of basins in which the canons washed their hands before meals. Yeah, but they reckon that there would have been a spring, or piping from a spring. Ah, it's beautiful, it truly is beautiful. And like I say, Edward I would have walked these exact steps, contemplating what to do with his son. So anyway, let's go and have a look and see if we can have a look in the church. So, the church warden has granted me permission to film in the church, so long as I give a donation. I don't mind that. But while we're out here, I just wanted to show you where the cross was. So that's where the cross was, just there. And I think the remains of it are in a niche in the church, so we'll go and see that. Oops. I tell you, one of these days I'm going to get used to these buttons. I'm looking at the front of the church here. Now this door would have only been, during its time as a priory, this would have only been used on special occasions, this door. They would have used the side door rather than this. Like, it's not the biggest of priories in the world, but it's a lovely little place. Now I thought that statue of Mary Magdalene was actually donated by Edward I, but apparently it's this Deca in origin, which seems to be the case because there is the Deca coat of arms up there as well. And the Howard coat of arms, I think, next to it. You can see there's Mary Magdalene there. Well, you probably can't see actually, it'll be... I'll try and zoom in a bit. Oh, come on Mark, you can get these buttons. I'm going to try and get the drone up there sneakily. But you can see there's Mary Magdalene standing there, and next to it is Lal Cannon, or Lal Prior, praying. On either side of the statue is the coat of arms of the Decas and the Howards, I think. Pretty sure it's the Decas and the Howards, I could be wrong, like. I'll look that up and I'll put in a correction. So let's go and have a look in the church. I'm really hoping that that poem about the Scots is there, like, still. I'm going to see that there's nobody there first. That's not going to disturb. Oh, bit of music. Wow. I see. Minimum donation of £1. Well, we'll put a bit more than that in, I think. £1. Come on. £2. Oops. Oh dear. £3. Oh dear, bloody money's gone everywhere. Terrible. There's £4. What have I dropped on the floor? There's another £1. That can go in. £5. There must be a bloody mug. Then again. Quite dark in here though, quite solemn. Of course this is what would have originally been just the nave of this. Organ there. And this where the windows are on the wall, this is a much later addition and would have been would have originally been like a screen with a pulpit, because they did tend to keep the priors separate from the congregations, you know. Well, it certainly looks to me like that poem is no longer here. I think that political correctness has unfortunately also reached the church. Such a shame. I joke, of course. I'll try and look up, try and find that, though I did try and find it prior to coming here. I couldn't find anything at that time, but I'll have another look online and see if I can find that quote from the Bishop of Exham. So, nice music anyway. Some nice prayer music. Beautiful windows. Oh, the Lanercost Cartulary. That's like the records of the priors, and still exists in the Carlisle Records Office. The founding of Lanercost, 1166. The new Norman lords of Gilsland, called the Devaux, or de Valibus, wanted a house of prayer in their estates. This would provide them with the prayers of the community, a suitable place for burial, prayers after their death to influence their eternal destiny, and would also be a status symbol. The baronial castle was at Irthington, and this level land, a little higher up the river, no doubt seemed an ideal site. I didn't know that there was a castle at Irthington. That might be worth a look at some point. And this gives kind of like the dates and stuff when parts of it was built. The lands of the hereabouts. Edward I, the hammer of the Scots. The last visit to Lanercost, which is what I'm talking about now actually, so I may as well read this out to you. So 1306 September. The King was slowly approaching the Scottish border with the Queen, Margaret of France, by many easy stages and borne on a litter on the backs of horses on account of his age and infirmity. Edward intended staying only a few days at Lanercost, but his health was poor, winter came on and he was obliged to remain at the Priory until the following March. The accommodation of the King, his family and all their household was a massive undertaking. The King's party included the Queen, Prince Edward and some 200 individuals, all to be housed and fed. Builders employed John Neal as clerk of works, employing 7 carpenters, 1 builder, 8 labourers and 24 other workmen. Timber was brought from Inglewood, lead from Brough under Stainmore, and glass from John Leverrier was fitted by Walter Glasswright, a lay brother from Furness. So they obviously had to build buildings as well, which I think will have been in the grounds where the cross was. Brilliant. Left seal of the Priory. Edward may have presented the statue of St Mary Magdalene to the Priory in 1306. It appears on the seal in 1310. So that's where I was thinking it was probably donated by Edward I, the statue outside that is. So, that's the church. Beautiful it is too. A beautiful place. It's a shame that that poem isn't there though. It's a big shame that that poem isn't there. Anyway, we'll go outside. So just a quick look at the exterior of the Priory. Of course, all these walls, so some of these walls were part of the Priory. You know, even in the day, you know, the boundaries of the Priory. And of course the gatehouse over there. Just zoom in on that. There you go. So it was obviously more substantial than that in the day. It's that beautiful arch it's left. Lovely. Anyway, we'll see that when we go out. So, what we'll do now is I think we'll head down to the Priory Bridge and get some drone footage of that, so we'll see you there.
Well, we're back. Like I say, we'll go and have a deek at that that bridge. I'll maybe cheekily fly the drone over here just to get some shots of that as well. But on the way out here, take note of the old gatehouse, or what was the old gatehouse. Oh, got somebody taking a photo, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Getting the sun shining through the edges there, flickering away. And we'll park in here. It's a bit clarty. Pop it on here somewhere. Oh God, I'm going to wind up in the cart there, aren't I? Let's see if we can get it turned round. I'll be back with you shortly.